It's also noodles. Why do the southern part have toasts, while the northern part have toasts? Shaanxi knife-cut noodles, Shaanxi oil-splashed noodles, Lanzhou ramen. These noodles in the north sound like you are working hard on noodles. Su-style 3-prawn noodles, Chuanzhou shacha noodles, Guangzhou wonton noodles. Southern pasta sounds like you know what toppings are used. First of all, the food in the south and the north is different. The south is mainly meters, while the north is mainly face. The rice from the south cannot be eaten alone, so you have to order food. Therefore, the south, which has abundant resources, spends all its cooking skills on cooking. Otherwise, the 8 major cuisines are basically southerners showing off their skills. The food used by northern chefs is so low that on the chopping board in the kitchen, the flour made from wheat can be made into many ways. The strips are just ramen, rolling noodles, pressing noodles, pulling noodles, hanging noodles, cutting noodles, and peeling fish. Son, wait. When it comes to making noodles, southerners can better play their best in the toppings of noodles, while northerners will put more effort into the noodles themselves. In fact, wheat produced in the south does not leave much room for southerners to make noodles. This is attributed to the low protein content of southern wheat, which is not strong enough, and lacks prerequisites for supporting, stretching, and shivering operations. The wheat we plant in China is mainly winter wheat. It is planted in autumn and will not be harvested until the second year. The entire growth process has to go through the whole winter. The winter in the north is very cold, and wheat will temporarily stop growing and will not continue to grow until the weather is warm. It will take about 270 days from planting to harvesting. But it is different in the area south of the Yangtze River. The winter is warm and wheat can continue to grow without stopping to spend the winter, so it can be harvested in about 120 days. Different growth times allow wheat from the north and south to bloom and bear seeds at different times. The winter wheat in the south bloomed and produced seeds early, and it was winter and spring at that time. The weather was not warm enough and the sun was not sufficient. By the time the wheat in the north blossomed and beared, it was already early summer, the temperature was more suitable and the sun was sufficient. The temperature and light during flowering and seedlings will affect the protein content. Every time the temperature increases by 1 degree, the protein content of winter wheat will increase by 0.4 to 0.5 percentage points. Therefore, in the south where the flowers and seeds are blooming and bear seeds, it is difficult for winter wheat to reach the protein content of northern winter wheat that blooms and bears in early summer. Furthermore, more than 90% of wheat's substance is produced through photosynthesis, which requires sunlight. There is more light in summer than in winter and spring, and the growth period of winter wheat in the north is longer, so there is more light and time to accumulate protein, so the north produces more medium-strong gluten wheat, while the south produces more medium-wheat gluten wheat. Southerners also know that local winter wheat is not chewy enough, so it will add alkali to denature the protein, or add an egg to supplement the protein and increase the muscles. This traditional noodle soup is about breaking the rawness, which means that it will be quickly picked up until it is just broken. It tastes soft on the outside and hard on the inside. In fact, it is because it is afraid that the muscle strength will be insufficient. After cooking for a long time, it will dissipate and affect the taste. Use toppings to enrich the noodles. Level. The noodle paste in the Minuet area gave up chewing and used the noodles as a seasoning for seafood. But when northerners eat noodles, they eat a muscle that also brings some roughness and toughness. Even if there is no topping, a handful of spicy food, a handful of oil-splashed chile, or even a bite of garlic, it is enough to satisfy the desire for that spirit between the lips and teeth. China has a vast territory, including cattle and sheep in Inner Mongolia, rice and beans in northeast China, fruits and vegetables in Guangdong and Guangxi. The interlaced terrain and unique climate make our eating habits very different. We will argue about sweet and salty tofu, and we will also argue about whether the north or the south are delicious. But it is precisely because we are on the same land that we can share these completely different authentic flavors.